Welcome to Panjab Radio, Guy Opperman.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you very much. I know it was a bit of a short notice to bring you on air, but I think it's very important, especially for the Panjab Radio listeners who are also old age as well, pension age, if I can say. So this relaying this information to them is very, very important for us.
It is, and I think it really makes a difference, and I'm really grateful to you as a key radio station that you are allowing us to try and explain the situation. So let me try and explain.
Yeah.
So if you have a mum or dad or a neighbour who is a pensioner, then they will be receiving their state pension, and that is wonderful. Mm-hmm. But there is an extra benefit, an extra form of support that is really, really important called pension credit.
Yeah.
Now, pension credit is worth, on average, get this, £3,300 a year. So whatever your state pension is, you can get a further £3,300 a year, which is available. And the problem is you have to apply. So what we are asking people to do is to go to gov.uk or to speak to their CAB or dial the free phone number, which is 0800 99 1234, and to see if they can apply. And what would they get for that? They would get housing support. They would get a free TV license if they were over 75. They would get medical support. They would get a whole host of other different supports. That means that they would get several £1,000s potentially worth of support. And there is some evidence, it's hard to tell because this has to be done on application, that ethnic minority communities are not applying as much as other communities. And partly because people think, oh, well, that won't apply for me. That's just simply not the case. So if your mum or dad or your grandparents or your neighbour is a pensioner and they are struggling, then please get them to apply. It doesn't cost them anything. The worst they can do is to spend 10 minutes making the application. Yeah. And there are so many benefits to this. And you'll be aware, for example, that the cost of living payment of £650 has kicked in today for people who are particularly vulnerable. Yeah. Well, if you apply for pension credit today and you get it, then you'd also be entitled to the £650 extra payment. So, times are tough. We all get that. We all understand that. You know, the war in Ukraine has made things very, very difficult, and things like fuel and energy and the price of a loaf of bread has gone up. So we need to make sure that the vulnerable in our communities realize that there is help out there. And but in this particular case, they've got to apply. So if you've got a local CAB, if you've got a local support agency that helps your local communities, if you've got a community group, they can help you navigate through this system.
Okay, can we just clarify that this has got nothing to do with the normal grant is available to every household of £400, and also nothing to do with the 8 million lowest income household of £650.
Yes, so let me explain it. So at the moment, pensioners are sitting there and they have their state pension. It's gone up, but clearly it's a finite sum. Okay? There is extra support coming in. So today we started the £650 payments to the 8 million most vulnerable people.
Correct.
In October, we're paying £400 support, which you don't need to apply for. It will basically go off your energy bill, which is the energy support grant. And if you're a pensioner, you're going to get £300 extra money over and above your normal entitlement to your winter fuel payment in November. Now, on top of that, pensioners should be applying for, if they are particularly low income, or if they are asset rich but cash poor, or if they are in particular difficulties, for pension credit. You've got to apply for it. This is the one thing you've got to apply for. And our problem is that we know in every part of the community, up and down the country, there are hundreds of people who are not applying for it. And listen, we paid out as a country, out of people's taxes, £5 billion worth of pension credit last year. That's a lot of support. And the money is there, but people have to apply for it.
Okay. Now, you talked about free TV license for over 75, but I don't think that applies to everybody over 75.
No, it only applies to people who've got pension credit. That's the whole point.
Okay.
So if you have a pension, the best way to look at pension credit is it is a gateway or a springboard, so that you know that if you're jumping up and down on a trampoline, right? every time you jump up, you can like punch the air. Well, every time you jump up and down on pension credit, you get another particular form of support.
Okay.
There's free TV license. There is health support. There is savings credit. There is housing support. So, there is some people who are pensioners pay a contribution to their housing. Correct. If you're on pension credit, you wouldn't get that. You would get that paid for you.
You mentioned earlier that minority population or ethnic minority population are not applying so much. Is that because the awareness might not be there within the community?
I think that is the case, to be honest. And I think one of the reasons I'm doing your radio show today, while we're having this conversation, we're trying to get the message out. Yeah. And there is no doubt whatsoever that it is a hard thing because people have actually physically got to make an application. They can do it online, and they can have help from their family or their friends or their counsellor or their Citizens Advice Bureau or their community group. But this is quite hard to navigate. And it's possible, for example, that someone's mum and dad might not have great English. Someone's mum and dad might not have a full understanding of computers. They might struggle dealing with forms. All of those sort of things put people off applying. So that's why we're trying to engage with minority communities to ensure that everybody does apply.
But if you look at reality, when you want to get your passport renewed or something, or a new one done, you always ask somebody that you need to do it. So I'm sure people can ask their neighbours or
absolutely, 110%.
Yeah,
and this applies to everybody.
Yeah,
and so if someone of your listeners actually knows anybody in their community who is of pension age and who is struggling, they just got to ask them, have you applied for pension credit? Because it's really easy to do. And you can get your friend, your neighbour, your 18-year-old tech-savvy grandchild to do it, and it literally takes 10 minutes.
Okay. Guy, you spoke about household energy grant of £400.
Yes.
It goes directly to the energy companies, but what about the people who are on these prepaid meters?
So, listen, the household energy grant, the details are still being worked through. But in October/November, we will be doing support to households, and it'll be deducted off the individual bill by reason of working with the individual energy companies. Okay. There is an ongoing discussion in respect of other types of energy bills, but obviously over and above this, there is the cost of living support. There is £300 winter fuel payment as well.
Okay. On the government side, there's an online pension credit calculator there. So does that mean they can put their details in and it'll tell them, the pension credit calculator will tell them what their eligibility is?
Yes, exactly that. That's on gov.uk. You're obviously on it, and that's exactly what they should be doing.
Okay. Now, I've been on the site where it says apply dash for dash pension, and you need your national insurance number, details of your income and pensions, details of money, savings, investment, usually for the last 3 months. So they need their bank statement for the last 3 months and whatever that is.
Yes, they're obviously going to have to provide some information because this application, and here's where it gets a little complicated, it's a means-tested application. In other words, not every pensioner is entitled to it. All right? But basically, you have to make an assessment of the relative wealth or lack of wealth of the pensioner. So, and I make one point. I come across examples of people who live in nice houses worth £200,000-300,000, but have no income, right? They're just reliant on state pension. And they may not have the full credits to their state pension. So they may be asset rich but cash poor. Some of those people are entitled to pension credit.
Okay. I mean, it says the top-up of a person's income to a minimum of £182.60 per week for single pensioners and to £278.70 for couples.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you would like to say to our listeners?
Listen, just please chat to your friends and neighbours. Speak to your mum and dad. Speak to your grandparents, and just make sure don't be shy. Please apply. Yeah. So just to make people aware that the
the payment going to 8 million people, lowest income household, the £650, that goes directly into their bank account. But this one, pension credit, have to apply for.
Correct. So the 650 is going to be done in 2 tranches.
Yeah.
So we're making 1 million payments today, and we'll be making 1 million payments going forward the next 8 working days.
Yeah.
Of £326, and then a further payment of £324 later this year.
Okay.
But so that's happening automatically.
Okay.
But the thing with pension credit is it's worth £3,300 on average.
Yeah.
And it is a gateway, it's a springboard, it's a trampoline to future success and future support of thousands of pounds over and above the 650.
Okay. Could you tell me a bit more about the Strictly Come Dancing Len Goodman's video with you?
So, yes, I can. So how can I put this delicately? I am a white middle-aged man in a suit.
Yeah.
And me trying to communicate a benefit and a support to a pensioner population is, in my view, it's just another bloke in a suit, right?
Right.
So I worked out that one of the most popular individuals in this country amongst the elderly population is Len Goodman, who is a pensioner, as you're aware.
Yeah.
And so we asked him to support the campaign.
Okay.
And we managed to do so. I have to say the Len Goodman video has been seen, I believe, in excess of 1 million times. And it would be a great service to me is if you would retweet it as part of your radio show.
Yeah.
And simply put, it is a snappily and simple way of expressing that people need to grab hold of their attention and also then apply for this. And the numbers have gone through the roof. Since the Len Goodman video...
1.3 million.
Yes,
it's
indeed.
gone up by... Yeah, perhaps when you get a bit of time, we can do one together in Punjabi.
Listen, I would love to do so. So listen, what we will do, you and I will sit down. My Punjabi is not brilliant, but I will definitely do that.
Yeah. Guy Opperman, thank you very much for all this information. And once again, I'll obviously will translate this into Punjabi so everybody else understands as well when they're listening now, is to go out there. They can either call the number between Monday 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on a Monday to Friday, and the number is the 0800 99123, or just go to gov.uk and type in pension credits.
Thanks very much indeed. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.